Okay, let's talk about Pokemon and its endless amount of fan games. So, it's been about half a month now since Relic Castle's 6th annual Game Jam. It ended with surprisingly 27 fan games. I've been on and off again with this video because I just knew... Oh shit, I just knew that these guys were gonna be updating their games for the next few weeks. Anyway, I'm going to go and cover all 27 games in this one video. This will be in no particular order, by the way, except for the last one, which is my personal favorite of the bunch. So let's begin. Slice of Life. It's a funny pizza game with time travel, and it has 5 unique levels to explore and go to. It solves puzzles. I enjoyed it for the most part, mostly because of the Chrono Trigger music, so that's good, right? Dreamweaver. I really enjoyed the concept of having a group of trainers stuck inside like a virtual Saw-like world where they have to escape and fight each other. Some of the characters though could have used more development. Escape from Dream World. The mini games were fairly fun, although really straightforward. I really loved the whole dream aspect though. The concept was interesting, and the whole idea of recruiting Pokemon. It was pretty harmless though, like it only took 20 minutes. Short and simple, just like me. A Ghost of Knowledge. An excellent mix of Pokemon and Metroid. The puzzles were nice and simple, although the battles can get really difficult. There are 2 endings to the game actually, so I'd say if you want to get all of them, it would take about 6 to 7 hours. That's actually not too bad, because the game is pretty fun, and you can actually do a bunch of stuff, like make your own base, decorate the base, train Pokemon, talk to your Porygon, whatever the hell. In conclusion though, if you like Pokemon and Metroid, I'd say play this one. Lost Hope. A very creepy story, but in a good way. I really enjoyed the encounters because it had some cool ones like the ghost or the hand, but it was just so... it got really fucking annoying because of how often you'd get them. Like the encounter rate is too high, but you can't skip any of them because you need to level up because of the boss battles. I really enjoyed Hope and her character backstory and her flashbacks, but after a while, I want to say a little over the 20-minute mark, you sort of stop getting them, and she just does nothing for me, which kind of sucks because I really did like her. Besides that though, it's good. It also made me really hungry for candy, so that's good. Midnight. I'm a big sucker for Vaporwave, so that theme really got me hard, and the character designs were straight out of an anime. The dungeon gameplay was good, although it got pretty boring because of the same encounters and rewards you get, and the 2-hour time didn't help it either. Pokemon Moderator. You play as a Pokemon Moderator for a Pokemon trading site. It's a good challenge for your Pokemon stat knowledge. You have to constantly check held items, levels, HP, movesets, and abilities to the point where you're just constantly doing shit, and I like it. I love it. Personally, I've had experience editing my Pokemon for personal reasons, so I had a soft spot for this. The game's only like 20 minutes long, so it's a nice little change of pace. Pokemon Climate. As the name implies, this game focuses on the weather mechanic. The gyms are actually weather-based instead of typing, so that's pretty cool. Also, most, if not all, Pokemon have a specific weather ability, so it makes them not useless sack of shits. It got really difficult for me later on though. However, that's mostly because of me, and I'm just so shit at weather, man. I mean, I live in Indiana, so the weather here is pretty much Pokemon weather. Pokemon Convert, very story driven and often has events that affect the environment. The sprites and menu look good, but they sometimes mix different games together, and that does not look appealing at all. Something very special about this game though is that it has a ton of custom music, and you can pretty much hear the entire soundtrack on SoundCloud, which I recommend. Pokemon DW. DW, it's an open world game, pretty much. I did kinda get lost at one point, but that's just me being me. Pokemon Descent, another dungeon-based game, and a pretty good one at that. It has this nice pick up and play feeling of just going around each room and finding monsters and without even having to train them, just battling, so that's nice. I just love to see this idea. I guess if we go further, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Therian episode. It's a nice little fan sequel of the best Pokemon game ever. I may be just a tiny bit biased because of that fact. However, on its own, I still think it's a good game. Pokemon Distortion. It's a weird semi-sequel to Pokemon Red and Blue, although I have no idea what the fuck is happening because it's, I don't know, it feels like a parody. I don't know if it's trying to be one. Pokemon Graduation. It's a very cute game that takes place after college and having to pay your debts, which is very relatable, although sadly the story doesn't really go anywhere and it becomes less important the farther you go in the game. So yeah, it also takes forever to finish because of the incredibly hard gyms, and it doesn't help that you aren't given that many options to level up. Pokemon Mobius. I really appreciate the fact that this starts off around the 3rd gym and you have a good selection of items and Pokemon already. It really does cut the unnecessary grinding and introductions from these fan games. Even skipping all that though, the game still provides a very clear narrative. Pokemon Parallax. I really enjoyed the fancy menu and UI work. The background art is also really good, and I wonder if they made it specifically for this game. I was actually pretty amazed at the Pokemon Ami mode, even though it crashed my game. You're a detective, by the way, so it has a nice little detective theme going on. Shadow Dragon. Me personally, I loved it until I saw a JoJo reference, and then I immediately hate the game now. I'm just kidding. I really enjoyed what I saw. Quest system was nice, and the different starters did help spice things up. The weirdest thing happened though, in that I lost a battle and respawned at a purgatory, and I saved by accident, so I was just pretty much stuck there forever, so that sucked a lot. Pokemon Splice, a game where you're hired as a Pokemon researcher. I love the reference to the blue ringed octopus, which is my favorite real life poison type. Green Gary, I hate that name. Green Gary, I feel like he was just too much of a jerk. He just becomes generic and annoying. Other than that though, I do agree that the sprites and character designs are really cute, and the story was great when you set aside the rival. Pokemon the Giant Torterra. It has some nice dialogue, even if most of it's told by a translator, and the game takes place on a giant Torterra, which kind of reminds me of that one scene in Detective Pikachu. Kind of wonder if that's where they got it from. All the sprites have this very interesting hand-drawn style, which looks good for the most part. It also only took me like a couple minutes to get a full set of Pokemon, so that's good. I don't like it when they waste my time too much with that stuff. Pokemon Vanishing Point. It's another detective-based Pokemon game with Luker and other characters being playable. The game takes place after Sun and Moon, and your mission is to capture these new Ultra Beasts that are made for this game, but I wouldn't know. I would not know which ones are official, which ones are not official. Pokemon Trapped. The game certainly makes you feel like you're trapped. There are a couple cool parts, but this is basically just a dungeon cave level, but it's the entire game. Personally, I'm not a big fan of cave levels, so I can't really judge this game fairly. I'm sorry. I had fun though. I had fun. The Chakra Clinic. It's a short and sweet story about a school teaching children how to use their Pokemon superpowers. At first, I didn't know what they mean by that, but I guess they explain it pretty well. The only real gameplay are these mini games that are made well. They're not made well. Sorry. You can easily cheese them without even trying. Like I said, it's short and sweet, so I'm not gonna spoil anything, especially the big major twist at the end. I would just recommend playing it yourself. The game has ended. A depressing story that explores the psychological struggle between these criminals and two brothers. One of them being me, Richard, aka Dick. This one is definitely one to remember, and I highly recommend it, even though it does involve a lot of puzzle solving. Thief! On the Magnet Trade Express. Another detective game, except this time, you don't play as Luker, and instead someone else named Ellie. The whole game takes place inside this train, and it looks exactly like something you would see on the Game Boy Color, and I love it. I sort of regret not installing the proper fonts, but it still looked good. It's only an hour long, and there's multiple endings to this, so there's really no excuse not to play this game and try yourself. Pocket Gaiden 2. Look guys, it's Final Fantasy 15. I'm just kidding, but they both do have an all-male group. The one in this are fine, but I can barely tell who's saying what because the dialogue boxes have no names, just colors. It's the only entry on this jam that you need a ROM for because it's a ROM hack. So yeah, it's based off Pokemon Emerald, and because of that, all the graphics, menus, and sound are pretty much the same, except some subtle differences. One of them being that you can find the Pokemon up to Generation 8. The game gets really hard sometimes, but it knows this, which is why it gives you the XP share and a couple lucky eggs at the start. Pokemon Veize City? The 7-day timer is very interesting for a Pokemon game. There are a number of quests and Pokemon to catch, and you get rewarded on the last day for how much of the Pokédex you completed. I don't know though, because the game crashed when I caught a Therian. PokéFriend Cafe. This game is pretty fucking good. It's really addictive, with my first playthrough being about 2 hours long. All the dialogue was really cute, and I really liked the relationship between my character and my mom. Karen though, ooh, Karen. That fucking bitch. That Karen, she was sort of like a rival, and I kinda wish she had better development. Like one day she'll be all nice to me and give me free shit, but then later, she would call me on the phone and call me an asshole or a loser. Maybe not an asshole. Managing your inventory and making sure you have enough food each day really keeps you engaged. Also, the ability to do stuff like reading, cleaning, going out really helps you decide what stat you want to improve. You start with one customer per day, but then later on you get so many that you start to feel the rush, which is a good thing. I love speed. At the end of each day, it all pays off, literally. It feels so satisfying to level up your rank and also upgrade your cafe. There's also really no true end to this game. I mean, yeah, the game takes you to the credits once you hit rank 5, but after that, you go back immediately where you were. I'd say that's a neat way of letting players know that the game's not done and you should focus now on leveling up or meeting legendaries. With all that said though, I did have a couple problems with this game. Like the fact that I could only order one type of ingredient each night. I'd sometimes be out of multiple things at once. So because of that problem, I would have to guess which food would sell the next morning. The dialogue was cute, but it did get really repetitive after like the first week. Overall though, I had a lot of fun and I'll definitely play this game again on my free time. I hope the creator works on this more, maybe into a larger game. You wanna hear something crazy though? This fan game was only made in 12 days, and it's 10 times better than the official Pokemon Cafe game. And that's kinda sad actually. Well, there you have it. 27 Pokemon fan games you can play right now. I'm gonna link the entire thread in the description in case anybody here was interested by any of these. Here's a list of my personal favorites that I recommend, although I think every game here is good though, for the most part. Don't take my reviews too personal though. By the way, I don't like to be mean to anyone, and I apologize if my reviews came off as rude or disrespectful. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope you like it. I will probably cover these game jams in the future if they don't have like 50 plus entries. Bye.